Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to a new edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And we got a good one for you today. But before we get into all of that, I think that Zoe has some shout-outs.
You know what? You're right, Alan. I do got some shout-outs. Shout-outs to everybody that's listening. We love you. I will call you by name, but it's just so many people, man. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess it up at all. So thank you for riding with us on this journey. And charity is not love.
We love you?
So this week, man, hey, we're talking about sometimes it takes generations. So strap in. Let the kings talk about it. All right, good people, and welcome back to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And as I am every single week, you already know who it is, man. It's Alan.
What up? It's Twine time. Hey, ask me about my podcast, man. You know what time it is. Let's go.
It's your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
Let's get into it, gentlemen. What up?
What is this? Who did this?
Is that bird?
This is mine.
Who did this?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I did this.
All right, good.
I did this to you. So the reason I wanted to talk about, sometimes it takes generations is I think the reason this came up is here locally in the Hampton Roads area, we'll say. There's we have a lot of historic plaques around the area. Mm-hmm. And one of those plaques was talking about, it was dealing with the Slover Library. And for those that don't know, the Slover Library is named after a person named Colonel Samuel Slover. And the reason I started thinking about how something can take generations, because what happened was after the Civil War, essentially, Samuel Slover bought one newspaper. And then he bought another newspaper. But then after that, he didn't have any children of his own, so his nephew went on to...
Wait a minute. He bought a news...
He bought a newspaper. He bought the Virginia Pilot.
Okay, all right. When you say bought a newspaper, I don't want the listeners to think like, oh, he just bought a newspaper. I can do that. But you're talking about building the actual facility. All right, I got you.
So he started essentially building their wealth to the point that 3 generations later, they went on to start companies like the Weather Channel and some other stuff.
What?
And, yeah, that
same guy?
Today, not the same guy. He was already dead, but the same family. Mm-hmm. Today, we know them as the Batten family, Batten, which when they sold the Weather Channel, they were one of America's 100 richest families.
Of course.
Now they own a ton of downtown Norfolk. Like if you look at the Dominion Tower, they own Dominion Tower.
Wow.
So the reason it made me think of it is, so a lot of times you do all of this work in your own life for what it is that you want, but you have no consideration for how the subsequent generations can build upon what you have done. Because you're just saying, oh, when I go, they just gonna run it. Well, not if you haven't taught and trained them on taking this and continuing that legacy. And you got to find people that want, because the people that want to continue the legacy may not be, if you have children, may not be your children. Mm-hmm. It may be a niece, it may be a nephew, it may be a grandniece, grandnephew. They may be the ones that say, you know what, I want to be involved in this enterprise with you. And a lot of the time, I find that people just look at their own children and don't ever really look beyond their own children. But because Samuel F. Slover did not have any children of his own, it forced him to look beyond his own children for, how do I continue this thing on for my descendants?
I think for some, when they build something and their children don't want to be involved, you have to look at the relationships. a lot of that has to do with that relationship of the parents and child.
Right.
And sometimes, like you said, it becomes the nephew, the niece, or whoever else down the line that wants to carry the grandkids. Sometimes the grandkids are the ones that want to step up to carry that on, because the relationships aren't there. And that's sad to say in our culture. A lot of us didn't teach that between the generations. We didn't teach that, carry it on from one generation to the next. It's a thing. It's a thing. And I'm not going
because they weren't taught. So we weren't taught because they weren't taught.
So you learn charity at home.
Just, you're not doing this. Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all listen to one of the recent podcasts, probably before this one, is called "Charity Starts at Home." He's picking with me because
I'm not picking with nobody.
Just listen to the episode and you understand what's going on right now.
I'm just saying.
Stick on topic.
We learn from generation to generation, and sometimes we're not taught.
Man, get out of my face.
Sometimes we're not taught.
You had to bring the word charity in. Let's move on.
Build upon one generation to the next. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You got that look in your eye killer.
So what principles?
Topic,
so Alan, it is your topic. Okay, so what are you building on sand versus solid rock or solid ground? What are you trying to say?
What am I trying to say? Because I wrote that note.
He wrote that. Let me see. Let me highlight this new technology.
Yeah, new technology. Go ahead and highlight that so you can see what.
You see, I can't see this.
Well, the reason I said that because you can't expect the generation that you're teaching or showing or trying to guide or lead to follow what you're trying to achieve, as to have wealth or a legacy. You can't expect them to follow in pursuit, or you can't expect them to follow suit because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. The foundation is not there. Getting the proper LLCs, excuse me, not, that's too many L's, LLCs, the S corps and all this, that you have to hedge funds, you have to have things in place. But if you don't set it up to where it can be like self-maintained with, board members and things of that nature, then how do you expect them to continue on a legacy when it's been built on something that's not solid? Is where I was going with that. There's levels to it. That's where I was going with it. No, nothing. No rebuttals. No.
I mean,
I got nothing.
What you want me to tell you? You got to build stuff on solid ground.
Yeah, for sure. You have to have an umbrella, ladies and gentlemen.
The other part of it, I think, too, is a lot of the time we don't do things with that. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that we should only consider the next generation, but most parents want their children to do better than they've done, unless they just selfish. But most people want their kids to do better than they've done, or they want their kids to build upon what they have built. The challenge I think that you have today that people may not have had in other generations is, a lot of the time these days is, especially if you're doing it through business, your children may not, if you haven't gotten to, multi-millionaire or billionaire status in your business, your kids may want to go do something else.
True.
They also may not live where you live in order to get the tutelage to be able to then run that business.
And
because, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. And to add to what you're saying, that their dreams and goals might not line up with yours, especially if they don't see some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? A benefit, yeah. If they don't see the benefit of you trying to do what you're doing, they're probably not going to take heed to it, and they're going to have their own dreams and aspirations, and they might go a totally different way. They might.
At the end of the day, though, and the thing of it is, if they are, that would actually still be okay. Because the reason I say that is because while in the example that we're using, which was Samuel Slover, right? Those newspapers were sold off. The Weather Channel was sold off. But it doesn't really affect but then they just start new businesses, but it's still the same family. So you could have a business. Let's say, for an example, with those. Let's say you build a real estate empire, and at the time that they start patting you on the face with the shovel, you got 2,000 doors.
Yes,
we'll say you got 2,000 doors that are providing your family a measure of wealth, and then the next generation decides they're going to sell this company and start another business.
Mm-hmm.
That is still them building upon your legacy.
Yeah, things change.
They do change, and depending on what happens in the country, they might need to get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, I see this crash is coming. Let me get out
this
of
ship
all
is
of
sinking.
this. Exactly. Woo, we need Barbados. Here we come. So I'm saying, like, we build foundations for the subsequent generations, but we don't necessarily know what those outcomes are going to be. But I just feel like that sometimes we only look at, well, I didn't get this done. But what did you deposit? What deposits did you make into future generations where they may do something that you were not able to do? That's really how it all came about, because the progenitor of that lineage did not themselves have the level of success that their successors had. He was not one of the rich. Now, he was okay, and he ended up becoming the mayor of Norfolk, or was the mayor of Norfolk when he established the paper. So he was okay anyway, but he was not billionaire status like they went on to become. Mm. They became billionaires when they sold the weather channel. They sold it for $3.5 billion.
Nice.
When they sold it, like 2007 or something like that.
Nice. That's pretty penny. And can I say one thing? I'm gonna say something real quick. So, somebody came back with some feedback one time, and it was a long time ago. He goes by the name of Yarkhan, all right, one of my coworkers. And he mentioned that he didn't want to hear about being successful, and like he claimed, or his perspective was we were being boastful in our achievements in some form or fashion. And I just want to say that me personally, I don't have it all together, all right? I'm still figuring this thing out. And if I do achieve something and share it with you, and you can't be happy and cheer with me, then stay on the sideline, all right? That's all I got to say.
Hey, I just said, if you feel like in some way that we're being boastful, this is all I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. Just listen to the next episode.
It's only going to get better.
Just listen to the next episode.
It's going to get better.
Matter of fact, make sure that you have your notifications on so that you get notified when new episodes drop. And then, you know what? I want you to go a step further. I want you to click on that box with that up arrow on it and send it to all your friends. That's what I want you to do. If you have a problem with us saying that
we're trying
to achieve things, and you also could achieve the things that you want to achieve, because everybody wants something different. If you've got a problem with that, then I want you to share this with everybody you know.
Come talk about it.
So that they can have a problem with it too.
That's a good problem to have.
I want everybody to have a problem with it. You know why I want everybody to have a problem with it?
Why? Why, Alan?
Because more than likely, they won't, and you the problem.
Ooh.
That's all.
That was a twine time moment. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Because I just don't feel like we have been bragocious in any way about anything that we have said. The only thing that it's not like we're like, ooh, yeah, I live in a palatial estate, because I don't. Ooh, yeah, I got a Bentley in the yard, because I don't.
Don't.
Ooh, I got a pool, because I don't.
Don't.
All I have ever said is we do okay.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
Okay, come back, Alan.
So.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
What was his name?
I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to give the same energy.
Well, whatever your name is.
I think it was Icon. Ericon.
listen to the next episode.
So
I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you one thing. I can guarantee you one thing.
You don't listen to
we will not be bragging in the next episode because we don't brag
man.
anyway.
I apologize in advance because I don't feel the same sentiment.
What's your sentiment?
My sentiment is, I boast about this thing all the time. listen. I'm sorry. No, I'm being real. And this is why I say what I said. Because I know how I got there. I know God has been good to me. I know I've been blessed over the years. You talking to somebody that was homeless in a car.
Come on,
you talking to somebody that was living in an 88 Tempo back in the day. So
back in the day, 2000s.
Hey, I don't care. Look. To
now
me,
I'm talking about me
and
personally.
people see me now, and this is exactly what they say. And I'm gonna put this on tape for a reason. This is why I'm doing this, because it reminds me of where I've been.
Facts.
And it reminds me what I seen my life change to, and it reminds me what's about to happen.
Right.
So I'm putting this on tape in 2023. I was homeless in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
I got a nonprofit. I got a for-profit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing good. My family's doing good. We are extremely blessed beyond measure. And I know this is the beginning. So, Icon, bro, I love you. I appreciate you. You better come holler at me now, because you won't know me then. Bro, I'm sorry. You better get to know God. This is what I always put it on. If you hating on people that's doing good, that means you doing bad. Stop doing bad. Come on, get on the good foot. Get on this good train. I'm serious. People don't understand. If your life suck, it's your fault. Fix it. It can get better because you're talking to somebody who been down at the bottom. God been good to me. If I go back to the bottom tomorrow, I'm going to be up again. I'm good, bro. I'm sorry. I boast about that kind of stuff. Hey, life good to me, baby.
That's real.
You don't know a hard time. Look, I'm gonna do a whole podcast. I can go in all day on driving trash, having to live with different people. What? I ain't know where I'm gonna take a shower, where I'm gonna get food, and you want me not to talk about how good life is now? Bruh. Get off my podcast.
But don't get off the podcast, though.
I'm gonna tell y'all what's real, man.
Nah, don't get off the podcast.
If you don't like positive energy, if you don't like people doing good, if you don't like people coming up from bad times, I don't care. I don't want to be around you. I don't even want you to listen to me. I ain't wasting my time. I ain't asking nobody to come hear what's. Hey, I'm gonna put a shameless plug in. Got a conference coming up, leadership, banking, and business, helping people that want to do better. I ain't telling everybody. You know why? Because people that want to know gonna do. Mm-hmm. People that want to do good gonna keep doing good. I'm sorry, I ain't got time. I ain't got time for piss poor. No, bro. I can't love you. Come holler at me. Please, hey, let them know. Let them know. Let people you work with know. Hey, life is good when you do things right.
I agree.
So sometimes it takes generations.
Yeah, sometimes it takes generations. I ain't learned that overnight.
Facts. That's a good tie-in. It does take time, man. Sometimes it does take generations, man. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I think we got time.
We got two. We got time.
Two back on topic. All right, y'all. That was a Twine Time moment, man. I like it. I love it. I love it, man. Thank y'all for following, listening. Man.
Absolutely, man. You know, tap that box with the up arrow.
I love it. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, man.
Send it to your mama and your mama's kids.
Yeah, send it to your mama's friends.
Hey, look. Don't send it to them if you don't want to do good.
Hey, send it to your mama's brother's kids.
Yeah, no, send it to them. Send it to anyway. Send it to everybody.
Do good and like people. Take me, done got me hyped up.
We should put a slash on the title. Slash.
It takes generations, man.
It takes generations?
Hey, man, I'm serious. Because people don't understand how bad, like you said.
That might be a generational thing when people don't.
It is, because, and this is what makes me mad is
achievements.
You have the same way you can go, you use the Slover family to show good, how they took one and built better.
Yeah.
It works the opposite way for some. They take bad and build worse.
Ooh, that's terrible.
You hooked on everything. Your mama was all messed up, so now you depressed and messed up, so you doing the same thing and taking it down worse. So you had kids that you keep doing worse, and then they had kids and keep doing worse and worse, and then half of y'all locked up, half of y'all on drugs, half of y'all
and that's what they call a generational curse.
So then you don't want to call it that.
You don't want to call it that?
No,
no,
because this is just the way we are.
Okay.
This is just my family. This is my.
This how we do.
We hood.
This how we ride.
We thug. This is what we do. Hey, cool. I love you. Keep it up. Good job.
Hey, you know,
I love it.
and in those situations, it really only takes one person to make a decision.
And that's all it takes. But that one person
that
has
one
to
person
stand strong to not go back to what it was.
And it's going to be difficult.
And it's going to be a battle for everybody that's in that family.
And you may, as we have talked about before, you may have to choose. Well, we over here, me and Zoe, have talked about. You may have to choose who you call family.
Oh yeah.
In order to remain steadfast in your commitment to go in a different direction.
Stay driven, because people are like vampires out here sometimes.
Vampires.
They will drain the life out of you with all the negative, the negative energy. And I hope that the people who are like that, you find some kind of peace in your heart and peace in your life and joy, or something that you can just do. Go do something. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Do something. And we got to find
do something different.
Live.
How about that? Do something different.
Yeah, no, you do need to do that.
Yeah.
The problem is we need to have a time to do it live.
So when it comes to time, all right, Calvin, you get on your calendar, and we'll get. All right. We know that.
Already there.
I know
next
you.
Week, I go back to days.
Know you.
Balling.
Oh, you do? Next week?
Behind the back, step back jumpers over there.
For 30 days.
Oh, 30 just 30 days.
Okay, cool.
What kind of cycle they got?
Can we get one of those 30 days so we can do a live?
Yeah, you say the word. Hold on.
I just said the word.
We gotta.
You didn't get a time of day.
Oh, didn't get time of day.
All right. We doing.
We also got to figure out what time though is the best time, because the reason I thought about it is I don't know if y'all. Well, this had nothing to do. I don't know why we're talking about this on the podcast.
We off topic, but anyway, we good. Keep going.
So sometimes it takes generations, people, but we're gonna get into more lives, so that we can interact directly with the people.
Yeah.
Right. So, but sometimes it does take generations to get to whatever is a thing. And here's the thing: the truth is, you have no idea. You can set things up, you can do different things, but you have no actual idea on what they're gonna do after you
the
go.
fact. Yeah.
You have no idea.
Unless you have set up the proper stuff to make sure that it's done.
But even then, they could just be like, "I'm out."
That's true.
And just let everything fall apart and crumble.
That's what the board members are for.
But then guess what?
What?
Then it ain't taking generations, because then it ain't in your family no more.
They had a chance. They did.
They
should have bought that ticket when they had a chance.
They did. Now, because the chairman of the board for the Ford company is still a Ford.
My name is my name. It will rain.
He's not the CEO, but he's still chairman. The Ford family still owns that company.
See?
But like I said, so you got to set it up properly. But that is going to require
a lot of time,
attorneys,
a lot of money.
No, it ain't have nothing to do with either one of them things. You just have to have attorneys to make that ironclad for you.
Ironclad, I like that.
You can't just be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna write this on a napkin."
Speaking of generations, I hate to get morbid, but get your affairs in order, all right? Mm-hmm. Please get your affairs in order. Me and Ashley had a tough conversation. It is always tough when you're talking about death. All right?
Put that in the notes. That's a topic for our generation. We have to start considering having the proper life insurances and different coverages that we need, different wills in place. You need an attorney.
Something, man.
You need.
I mean, I've been on this train for 20 years.
Right, but a lot of people our age aren't.
I know.
And they don't
they
some don't have the means, and we understand that.
They got the means.
Some don't have the means.
They got the means.
Some don't have the motivation.
To
do
discipline.
There you go. They got the means.
Consistency.
They got the means. The reason I say that, you know why I say they got the means. They got
I like
the means.
Shoes you got, player.
They don't have
that fit
the motivation
fresh.
and the discipline. but part of that is because guess what? We think we got time. We think we got time to get our affairs in order. And my thing is, okay, well, give me a call the day before you know you don't have time.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and add that to a future topic, ladies and gentlemen. get your affairs in order. We're gonna talk about a lot of the good things.
We're gonna have Ashley on.
Yeah, let's do that.
We should have Ashley on.
All right, cool. We'll put
What does Ashley do?
We'll talk about that when we get your affairs in order.
Yeah.
Does she work for New York Life and sell life insurance?
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't just sell life insurance.
What does she do? Educate people?
To be honest with you, okay, since you brought it up, she is very passionate about people being informed and educated about options that they didn't know that they had. A lot of people out here could be doing better in regards of having some kind of coverage. Something. That way, if something happens, God forbid, today, tomorrow, then, you know, the people you leave behind will be covered and they can take care of things the way they should be. And not only having, and this ain't got nothing to do with taking generations, but it could, because you can use products to springboard other generations. Yeah. But I think the other part of it is a lot of the time, even when we do have things, nobody knows where to find the things. Because if you pass and nobody knows where that paperwork is, how are they ever gonna file for what they need to file for? Then it's because I'm sure there's a statute of limitations on after this happens, you have this much time to file. I'm sure there's some kind of limitation. You can't wait 20 years and then be like, oh, here's this death certificate from 20 years ago. Yeah, please give me that money. And I would imagine that's very stressful. It's a stressful time. That's why the person who gets it needs to make sure, hey, here is where everything is. Yeah. Here's all my documents. They're in this filing cabinet. They're in this shared drive. They're in my iCloud location.
And we don't want to talk about it a lot of times because we don't want to think about that aspect of life. But the people that you care about need to know where to find, so that in their grief, they don't now have to rip everything apart trying to find stuff. So anyway, I like it. But it takes generations. It does take generations. In regards to generations, I hope, I know I'm naive in my mindset to think that it will be done exactly the way I want it to be done, as far as when I leave behind a legacy for the next generation and the next generation after that and the continuing generation. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. However that come, I will do my part in doing so, knowing that it may not go my way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. To make sure that things are in place. So when I'm gone, hey, Twine Time did what he was supposed to do to make sure that the ones I leave behind are taken care of. Regardless of what they do with it, I hope and pray that some knowledge and wisdom has passed and been bestowed upon them with the nuggets that me and Ashley try to, instill in the kids, man. But for the most part, they're going to be all right. Anyway, moving on. Shout out to all the kids, man. Lana, Leia, Ashay, Lathan, love y'all, man. If you're listening, you better be listening. You know what I mean? It might not be. No, that's true. You never know. So anyway, that's all we got. That's all I got, man. Y'all got any closing thoughts? Hey, just remember, man, sometimes the thing that you're building might not be for you. It might actually be for somebody, for one of your descendants. And by descendants, I mean anybody you really choose to leave that to. It might not be something that, and it may not, you may only achieve part of what you thought you were going to achieve, and somebody else may go on and take that thing further than you ever could have taken it. So, that's all. That's all I'm saying. All right, I ain't got nothing, man. I'm good. Bless. You got anything, Calvin? Don't you say it. If you say something about charity and love. Be oh, okay. Be well. You're good. Be kind. Be loved. I like it. All right, man. We'll see y'all next week. Yes, Lord. Yeah.